Hi, I'm Melissa, and welcome to my Bipolar 2 lifestyle channel.
If you or somebody you love has bipolar or any kind of mood disorder and find it challenging to find the joy, I really hope that I can share bits and pieces of my story, even if it's sort of sporadic, to be able to share what it's like for me. I started this channel years and years ago, with before my diagnosis, honestly, and I found out that I had bipolar 2 after I had a traumatic life experience. It really seemed to trigger and bring up the bipolar symptoms. So actually, before COVID hit in 2020, my godmother had passed, and she was like a second mom to me. And so that's part of why I went into like a really deep depression. Um, and bipolar 2 is like the more depressive type of bipolar. And yeah, Barbara was an incredible human, and she was there for every birthday party. Like, she would bake the cake, host the party, like take us for pool days. And she just was like such an overwhelming presence in my life. And yeah, I had just moved to Colorado that year, earlier that year, permanently. And yeah, I just remember feeling so dark. She passed in August of 2019. So then like I was just in like a crippling depression for a few months. And then I finally, after 3 months, was like, I need to go see my PCP. I need to talk to my doctor. I need to figure out what's going on here. Luckily, my boyfriend Daniel was really helpful and supportive in helping me feel like I had the courage to go, because it definitely was a little bit of resistance of like, I didn't necessarily feel like I needed to be on anything, but I also was like breaking down crying for hours, day after day. And so anyway, we ended up going to my doctor, and he prescribed antidepressants. That was the incorrect diagnosis and put me in a really even worse headspace, which I could not fathom, truly. I thought it couldn't have gotten worse, and then it did. I had like suicidal ideation. I had even worse depression, and just like all of the symptoms I already was battling with absolutely compounded. Um, and so that was kind of the beginning of like a very tense relationship with medication. I've had medication before that like was really helpful, not for mental health, but that was my first experience going on any kind of medication to supplement the brain chemistry abnormalities that I was experiencing. So um, I remember going back, and they're like, oh, actually, so you have bipolar 2. Sorry, we misdiagnosed you. And that was like kind of a bummer and a relief at the same time, because I was like, oh, good. Like, there's a reason why this didn't work and why this medication made things worse. It's because I needed a mood stabilizer before I went on an antidepressant. And that was like the beginning of the floodgates opening of like, Melissa, you have so much to learn. Um, and it's been, what is this, 2025? So like 6 years later, I'm finally like on a really good medication regimen. I feel really comfortable and like generally pretty stable. Like, I know how to manage the bipolar ups and downs. I can kind of notice some of the trends that I have. And so that's kind of what I want to share today. Honestly, I wanted to jump on here and just share an update about what my experience has been like. I've gotten pages and pages of questions from people about my experience and what bipolar is. And I'm not like a medical professional at all, but I have lived experience. So that's really what I'm hoping to bring to the table. Um, and hopefully it helps somebody out there who, like me, maybe felt very like alone, lost, and confused about what it is. And if I could have a life that I loved and enjoyed, even with a diagnosis that felt so crippling. And yeah, so hopefully this helps. Jumping into kind of where I am now, since Colorado, we moved about 4 years ago to just outside Boston, Massachusetts. So another huge move. I'm from California originally. So I've like moved all the way across the country, and honestly, we're considering another cross country move, which will be interesting. I'll keep you posted on that as well. I might go into it in this video. But basically, I worked a bunch. I've been full time. And then last year in May, I quit my full time job to work part time because I was having seizure activity. It turns out, as of like 2 months ago, we finally figured out that it's PNES, which is kind of common for other friends that I know that have bipolar. And so PNES is like a type of seizure that it's not like epileptic, but it presents as an epileptic seizure would. I'm personally fully conscious when it happens, but it, as simply as I can put it, it's like a stress-induced seizure. So I don't need to like for me, the doctors have said like I don't need to rush to the hospital. Um, but it's just like it presents as like twitching and convulsions a little bit. It's definitely pretty scary sometimes. I feel like I've gotten kind of numb to it, but it's also one of those things that like I've had that for the last couple of years. And so anyway, that's a side tangent. um, I really figured out that I needed to reduce my stress. My neurologists, my therapists, my friends and family, like had all noticed how stressed out I was with this job. I was a national partnerships manager. I was managing the East Coast for a nonprofit and building out like strategic plans for multiple locations. And I enjoyed it a lot and I was really good at it, I think, but also it was just something that like I was at my desk for like 8 to 9 hours a day. It was during COVID still, so the tail end of it was just intense, and I needed to get outside more. I needed to walk around. My fitness and my mental health were like going down the gutter. Um, so yeah, I ended up quitting, and it was like the highest paying job I ever had. So that was like very challenging to step away from because then I stepped into a role that paid like a quarter to a third of what I was getting paid. And I knew that my like lifestyle was going to have to change. My health insurance was going to have to change. I was going to have to find new providers. And so like, I think one thing that was a fear of mine that ended up being pretty valid, honestly, is like switching jobs or going from full-time to a part-time, less stressful job. While it has been so good for my mental health to have flexibility, um, it also has been something that's challenging in the aspect of finances are a lot tighter and I have to be a lot more disciplined. And like some people with bipolar have a hard time, like when they're manic, they will like spend a ton of money. That's only happened to me like 2 or 3 times. And it's never been like something I can't like recuperate from. It was just like out of budget for the month. Um, like one time, for example, I got like a $650 like hair appointment, and I was like a couple of days later, I was like, why did I do that? And I was like, oh, it was definitely manic, and I impulse booked the appointment, and my hair looked fantastic, but it also was like not worth it. Again, working off of a very small budget, where like $650 plus tip is definitely like a little ridiculous, very ridiculous, and so I kind of like joke about that because it's like oh, it's kind of silly, but also like it is serious. And like some people really like will spend thousands of dollars that they don't have. And so like being in communication with your partner can be really helpful for accountability. So anyway, definitely if you're in a relationship with somebody or have friends and family that can support you in your journey with bipolar, it's so helpful. And I think I just want to advocate and like shout out my boyfriend Daniel. He has been so good at being gentle, but also like, hey, you seem like you're trending towards manic, or like you were just really manic. You're gonna crash and it's gonna be depressive. Like, just a heads up that I'm here for you. Um, that I could get really emotional about talking about that, but like has been so helpful. But yeah, again, I'm going on a side tangent and I can dive deeper into that. So just let me know in the comments, like if that's something, any of these topics that I'm sort of brushing over would be interesting for me to go into deeper. Um, but yeah, I wanted to talk about work and switching from a high stress, high paying job down to a very low stress, also low paying job. The low paying job I've been there for a year and 2 months. I love it. It's been so good. My bosses, they're two co-founders of a co-working space, and they're incredible. Like they're so kind, they're so understanding. I did choose to disclose to them that I have bipolar too, and that's part of why I need a rest day in the middle of the week. And they were like, perfect, we will figure out how to cover that. We just love that you're here and want to support you, and have been just like so gracious to me. They give me a lot of flexibility, which is great. And it's because it's a lower stress job, like I don't feel like I need as much of a escape every week away from it. But the reason I take Wednesdays off, that's my half week like day off, is because I do tend to push myself quite a bit. Like being an adult requires, as all of you know who are adults that are watching this, like adulting is a lot. And so you have like upkeeping your house or apartment. You have like, we have a dog. And so like taking care of the dog, and mental health takes a lot of progress. So like therapy appointments, which I have in like an hour because it's Wednesday and I'm recording on a Wednesday. Psychiatrist appointments, making sure I have all my meds ready to go. And just like all the doctor's appointments. I had the seizure stuff happen earlier this year, so I was having 3 to 4 appointments per week for about 3 or 4 months. We finally figured out and are on the other side of that, which is great now. And so, yeah, it's just been crazy to juggle all of that. And so having the midweek reset slash a day I know I can book an appointment for my health and mental health has been so helpful. So, what does a day off, Wednesday day off, look like for me? When I take Wednesday off, I do one of two things. One is what I will call good, and one is what I will call bad. Are they inherently good or bad? Not necessarily, but I definitely feel better when I do the good thing versus the bad thing. So, the bad thing, I'll start with the negative first, is I will create a laundry list of things to do. I'm the kind of person who feels like there's always more to do, and like I will clean and cook and um like do yard work and like create all these extra tasks that maybe don't need to be done all in one day. But everything that's like piling up in the back of my head over the course of a week goes on that list. And when I'm feeling a little mentally weak. I'm like, I've got to get all these things done. It's my day off. My partner is at work all day. So, like, I need to also be productive. And so I put this pressure on myself to be overproductive, to validate the fact that I have a day off of work. I end up oftentimes when I choose that path, pushing myself into a manic state because I am doing too much, and then I start rushing into things, and then I start compiling all these things. And the more and more and more that I do, I start to like let it snowball into overworking myself and then overexerting myself. And then I don't take any breaks. And so when I don't take any breaks, I also like just like physically start to wear myself down. Um, and yeah, oftentimes I push myself into manic from like 8:30, 9 a.m. all the way till like 7 p.m., no breaks. And I don't sleep as well because I haven't rested and taken any breaks. And it's just like I'm still figuring out why this works the way it does, but it seems like I end up like pushing so hard, not resting at all, that my body feels like kind of like on fire of like gotta get more done, like gotta keep pushing, gotta keep grinding. And that's kind of like what my old job was, but like every single day for work. And so I think it kind of like reverts me back into that state and can be really negative for me. And then the rest of the week I am like so exhausted, like my sleep is off, and my so I feel less rested, and then I like drink too much coffee because I'm trying to like maintain a operational headspace for work. And yeah, it can be really detrimental for me. And then usually Saturday, Sunday come after a manic Wednesday. Um, and I end up just so drained. I will sleep the whole day and maybe a day and a half of just like wake up, eat something, sleep, wake up, eat something, sleep. And it's then I get hard on myself because I'm like, well, now I can't get things done that I wanted to get done. Now I can't spend time with my partner who has been working all week and really would love to spend some quality time with me because I'm asleep on the couch. And then I start getting into like a depressive headspace of like, oh, I I'm not good enough, and then I snowball down that rabbit hole. And no one's telling me this. No one is saying, Melissa, you're not good enough. No one is saying you need to get more done. It's me. It's me putting that pressure on myself. And so my therapist and I have talked a lot about like giving myself grace and taking breaks. And one thing that's worked, so if you find yourself stacking too much on your plate on a day off or on any day, um, take breaks. I've found that like time blocking has been so helpful. So like I will put on my phone, on my calendar, um, an hour or an hour and a half max of like chores. Just crank out as many chores, blast the Latin music, like dance it out, like do everything you can on your list for an hour to an hour and a half, and then stop. Go read a book, put on a candle and make a cup of tea, sit down and like let your body rest. I try not to be on my phone during that break time, or maybe I'll go work out if I'm feeling like I have a lot of energy still. But again, just trying to check in with myself of like, okay, if I'm feeling manic and I'm feeling like I'm getting like I'm a superhuman, I can get everything on my list done, that needs to be a warning sign to me of, hey, slow down. You can get stuff done. You can leverage some of that mania, but like in a strategic and paced way. And I think that's the word that comes to mind for me is pace. Pace yourself. And so if I were talking to myself a couple of years ago, this is the advice I would have wanted to hear. Um, the good day, if I do like a good restful day, honestly, today was a good day so far. I got up, went for a walk with the dog, had breakfast with Daniel, and then I took a nap. I read a book for like 20 minutes, fell asleep on the couch reading the book, and slept for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And sometimes I have mixed feelings, and I'm not sure if like naps are the only best way necessarily to rest for me. But I did feel like I needed it. So I had the space and I took it to take a nap. Um, and then I was like gonna jump on Instagram and share a little bit of what I'm sharing with you now. And I was like, well, a lot of people have been asking for me to put it on YouTube, because then they can like rewatch it and take notes and kind of compare their story with mine, and see what they can learn. And so here I am doing that. And yeah, I have therapy. I also run a small business. So I basically help nonprofits start from the ground up. I do like train them how to be compliant and file with the Secretary of State and IRS. And basically, like all of my education has been around starting nonprofits and legal studies. So it's a really great way for me to like leverage my mind in a way that I can use my brain in a way that my current part-time job doesn't. Um, and not that I'm like not learning things at my part-time job, but also like it's so helpful to be able to pour my creativity into my business. And because it's my business, I don't have anyone coming after me saying like, oh, you need to get X, Y, and Z done. Again, I'm doing that, which has pros and cons, but it also means that I have the luxury of pacing myself. And so I think, yeah, I think maybe that even could be my word of the year. Like I know it's like August, but I think that honestly, pacing myself has been one of the bigger lessons this year. Um, so yeah, I hope this is helpful for you. I'm happy to share more of my story. It's definitely like a very vulnerable topic. Also, shout out to Find the Good brand because this hat is so cute and they gave me a discount code. I'm pretty sure it's just Melissa Rivera. Um, so if you want to shop Find the Good, they're a Boston-based company that gives back to mental health. So obviously I'm a fan. And yeah, I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions about what to do with your bipolar 2 or your diagnosis, or how to find support, how to build community that will help you stay on track, if you're curious about what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody that has bipolar 2, I know we've had questions come through about that previously. You can always comment below, but you can also email me at melissamarie2@gmail.com. So that's Melissy marie2@gmail.com. And I'm happy to like answer them. You can do it anonymously, or you can even, um, put a question in the email or in the comments below, and I'll get to it in another either direct message to you or in a video, because a lot of times you have the same questions as somebody else. So it's helpful to share it with everybody. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. And I look forward to sharing more. Again, it's probably going to be more sporadic than I wish it could, more than the algorithm would like it to be. But unfortunately, like my diagnosis literally means I don't always have the energy sustainability that I'd like to. We're working on it. We're trying to adjust with it. We're trying to have grace for it, but also we're still learning. So, with that, I'm going to sign off, and I wish you guys a really good rest of your day. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. And it's just me and my lived experience. I'm not a professional, but I would love to support other people that are walking through this as well. Bye.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget, we've got this.